Hello everyone, welcome. So this is a class of 12th standard CBSE chapter 12 biotechnology and its application. So biotechnology we have already learned how do we do genetic engineering, that is changes in the gene that is taking place, also about the pharmaceutical and biotechnological products that we have. So we look at the products, we look even at the alterations of the genes. So the critical research area are what it's a providing the best catalyst in the form of improved organism used as a microbe or pure enzyme, creating optimal conditions through engineering and for a catalyst to act, and downstream processing technologies to purify the protein. Okay, now coming first to the biotechnology application in agriculture. So what are the areas in agriculture we use agrochemical based agriculture, organic agriculture, and genetically engineered crop based agriculture. So the green revolution, it succeeded in tripling the food supply, but yet it was not enough. So once there was the invent of this biotechnology, they used various practices, and then these problem came to a solve in at a very large extent. So the farmers in the developing world, they had agrochemicals which were often too expensive, but further increase in the yield with existing variety are not possible using conventional breeding. So what is the alternative pathway? The alternative pathway is genetically modified organisms, that is GMOs. So, what genetic modification has done? It made the crops more tolerant to antibiotic resistant, reduce the reliance on chemical pesticides, help to reduce the post harvest losses, increase efficiency of mineral usage by plants, and enhance nutritional value of food. So, in addition to these uses, GM has been used to create tailor-made plants to supply alternative resources to their industries in the form of starches, fuels, and pharmaceuticals. Some of the applications of biotechnology in agriculture that you will study in details are the production of pest resistant and plants which could decrease the amount of pesticide which is used. Bt toxin is produced by bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis. Bt toxin gene has been cloned from the bacteria and has been expressed in plants to provide resistance to insecticides than the insecticides. So in effect, it created the biopesticide. Example are Bt cotton, Bt corn, rice, tomato, potato, soybean, and all those things. Now coming to Bt cotton. So in Bt cotton, what happened is some strains of Bacillus thuringiensis produce back proteins that kill certain insects through lepidopterans, which is tobacco budworm, and then coleopterans, which is beetles, and diopterans, which is flies and mosquitoes. Now, B. thuringiensis, that's Bacillus thuringiensis, forms protein crystals during a particular phase of their growth. Now, the crystal that contains this toxic insecticidal proteins, actually this Bt cotton, what it does this, the proteins which exist as inactive protoxins, but once the insect ingest this inactive toxin, what will it do? It will enter and then it will get in the active form, because it is getting the alkaline pH of the gut, which solubilizes the crystal. Now the activated toxin binds to the surface of the midgut epithelial cell and create pores that cause cell swelling and lysis, and eventually causes death of the insect. Now specific Bt toxin genes were isolated from Bacillus thuringiensis and incorporated into several crop plants such as cotton. So, the choice of the gene depends upon the crop and the targeted pest, as most Bt toxin are insect group specific. The toxins are coded by a gene called as Cry1AC, named Cry. They have got proteins which codes for genes Cry1AC and Cry2AB, which controls the cotton bollworms, and Cry1AB, which controls corn rubber. Now, pest resistant plants, when I talk about, so several nematodes parasite a wide variety of plants and animals, including human beings. A nematode, Meloidium incognitia, infects the roots of the tobacco plants and cause great reduction in the yield. So, novel strategy was adopted wherein they used RNAi, which is RNA interference. So, RNAi takes in all the eukaryotic organisms as a method of cellular defense. So, this method involves silencing of a specific mRNA due to complementary double-stranded RNA molecule that binds to and prevents the translation of the mRNA. So that is known as mRNA silencing. You are telling it keep quiet, you cannot produce any protein. So silencing that particular mRNA. The source of this complementary RNA could be from an infection by viruses having RNA genomes or mobile genetic elements, transposons, that replicate via RNA intermediate. Using agrobacterium vectors, nematodes, specific genes were introduced into the host. The introduction of DNA was such that it produced both sense and antisense RNA in the host cells. The two RNAs, being complementary to each other, formed a double-stranded RNA that initiated RNAi, thus silencing the specific mRNA. So the transgenic plants therefore got itself protected from the parasite. Next, coming to biotechnological applications in medicines. It is very huge. So healthcare, it enables mass production of safe and more effective therapeutic drugs. Further, the recombinant therapeutics do not induce unwanted immunological response as is common in case of similar product isolated from non-human sources. At present, about 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use in the world over. The maximum usage that we use is genetically engineered insulin. So, management of adult onset diabetes is possible by taking insulin at regular intervals. So, how did this come across? How did we produce insulin? Insulin is used for diabetes. Okay, so it is extracted from the pancreas of slaughtered cattle and pigs. Now, insulin from an animal source, though, caused some patients to develop allergy or other types of reaction to the foreign protein. Insulin consists of two short polypeptide chains, chain A and chain B. Okay, and they are linked together by a disulfide bridge. In mammals, including humans, insulin is synthesized as a prohormone. Okay, so which is not active, so it's not functional. So it is prohormone, which it will become matured and then it will start functioning. Okay, so this prohormone, it includes insulin A, insulin B, along with insulin C. So this C peptide is not present in mature insulin. So C is being removed and the insulin will become active. So the main challenge for production of insulin, including rDNA technology, was getting insulin assembled into a mature form. In 1983, Eli Lilly, an American company, prepared two DNA sequences corresponding to A and B chains of human insulin and introduced them into the plasmid E. coli to produce insulin chain. Chain A and B were produced separately, extracted and combined by creating disulfide bond to form insulin. The next is gene therapy. So, if a person is born with a hereditary disease, so can a corrective therapy be used? Gene therapy is the only one which can do. What is gene therapy doing? Gene therapy is altering the gene. So the first clinical gene therapy was given in 1990 to a 4-year-old girl with ADA deficiency, with adenosine deaminase deficiency. This enzyme is crucial for immune system to function. So this disorder is caused due to deletion of the gene for adenosine deaminase. So in some children, ADA deficiency can be cured by bone marrow transplantation. In others, it can be cured by replacement therapy, in which functional ADA is given via an injection. But the problem with both these approaches is that they cannot be completely curative. Now, as a first step towards gene therapy, lymphocytes from the blood of the patients were grown in a culture outside the body. A functional ADAC DNA, that is complementary DNA, is then introduced into the lymphocytes, while lymphocytes are subsequently returned to a patient. So take out take out the lymphocytes, get out the blood, and then grow it along with the cDNA, complementary DNA. However, the gene installed from the marrow cell producing ADA is introduced into cell at early embryonic stage. It is a permanent cure. Next is molecular diagnosis. So, diagnosis means detection of a disease. So, effective treatment, early diagnosis is very, very important. So, using conventional methods of diagnosing serum, urine analysis, early detection is not possible. Whereas, if rDNA technology, PCR, enzyme-linked immunoabsorbent assay, which is ELISA, they are some of the techniques that serve the purpose of early detection or diagnosis. Presence of pathogen is normally suspected only when the pathogen has produced the disease symptoms. By this time, the concentration of pathogen is already very high. So it is happening during corona. So it's affecting, it's already very high. It's already producing the symptoms. That is when we understand that we are affected by this particular disease. However, if we already know that while detection of corona, we had this option RT-PCR, whether RT-PCR was done. So RT-PCR, so PCR is polymerase chain reaction. RT is reverse transcriptase. Okay, because it is a virus, we use reverse transcriptase, which converts the DNA into RNA into the DNA. So now PCR is now routinely used to detect HIV, AIDS and all these things. So it's a very powerful technique to identify many genetic disorders. A single strand DNA or RNA tagged to a radioactive molecule is allowed to hybridize its complementary DNA in a clone, and it is followed by detection of using auto radiography. The clone having the mutant gene will hence not appear and on the photogenic film, because the probe will not have complementary with the mutated gene. ELISA is based on the principle of antigen-antibody interaction. So infection by a pathogen can be detected by the presence of antigen or detecting the antibodies synthesizing against the pathogen. Now coming to transgenic, next is transgenic animals. So animals that have had their DNA manipulated to process or express extra foreign gene are known as transgenic animals. Transgenic rats, rabbits, pigs, all those things are there. So, what are the various components? Normal physiology and development. So, transgenic animals can be specifically designed to allow the study of how the genes are regulated and how they affect the normal functions of the body and its development. Example, study of complex factor involving growth, such as insulin like growth factor, by introducing the gene from other species that alter the formation of this factor and studying the biological effects that result transformation is obtained about in the biological role of the factor in the body. Then we can study the diseases. So there are many transgenic animals are designed to increase our understanding of how genes contribute to the development of a disease. These are specifically made to serve as models for human diseases so that investigation of new treatment for the disease is made possible. Today, transgenic model exist for many human diseases such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, anything. So, next is having biological products. So, medicines required to treat certain human diseases can contain biological products, but such products are often expensive to make. So, transgenic animals that produce useful biological products can be created by introducing the portion of DNA which codes for the particular product, such as human protein alpha 1 antitrypsin, which is used for treatment of emphysema. Similar attempts are made for treatment of phenylketonuria (PKU) and cystic fibrosis. In 1997, the first transgenic cow, Rosie, produced human protein enriched milk. The milk contained human alpha lactalbumin and was nutritionally a more balanced product for human babies than natural cow milk. Next, we have vaccine safety. So, transgenic mice are being developed for the use in testing the safety of the vaccines before they are used on humans. Transgenic mice are being used to test the safety of the polio vaccines. If successful and found to be reliable, they could place the use of monkeys to test the safety of the batches of vaccines. Next is chemical safety testing. So, chemical safety is the toxicity or the safety testing that we see. So, the procedure is the same as that of testing toxicity of the drug. Transgenic animals are made to carry the genes which make them more sensitive to toxic substances than non-transgenic animals. So, they are then exposed to toxic substances and then the effects are studied. Toxicity testing is in such animals will allow us to obtain results in less time. And lastly, coming to the ethical issues that we have. So, when we manipulate living organisms by the human race, it cannot go any further without regulation. So, there are some ethical standards which are required. So, the morality of all human activities that might help or harm living organisms. So, going beyond the morality of such issues, the biological significance of such things is also important. Now, genetic modification of organisms can have unpredictable results when such organisms are introduced into the ecosystem. Now, therefore, Indian government, they have set up an organization with GEAC. So, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which will make decisions regarding the validity of GM research and safety of introducing GM organisms for public service. The modifications or usage of living organisms for public services has also created problem with the patents granted for the same. So there is a growing public anger that certain companies are being granted patents for products and technologies that make use of genetic materials, plants and other biological resources that have a long been identified, developed and used by farmers and indigenous people on a specific region or country. Like for example, rice is very important food grain, the presence of which goes back to thousands of years in Asia's agricultural history. So there are an estimated 2 lakhs varieties of rice in India alone. So the diversity of rice in India, one of the richest in the world, basmati rice is distinct for its unique aroma and flavor, and 27 documented varieties of basmati are grown in India. So there is a reference of basmati in ancient texts, folklore and poetry as it has been grown in centuries. In 1997, what happened? An American company got patent rights on basmati rice through the US Patent and Trademark Office. These allowed the company to sell a new variety of basmati in US and abroad. The new variety of basmati had actually been derived from Indian farmers' varieties. Indian basmati was crossed with semi-dwarf variety and claimed as an invention or novelty. The patents extended to functional equivalence, implying that other people selling basmati rice could be restricted by patent. Several attempts have been made to patent uses products and processes based on Indian traditional herbal medicines, example turmeric, neem. If we are not vigilant and we do not immediately counter the patent application, other countries' individuals may encash on our rich legal legacy, and we may not be able to do anything about it. So there is biopiracy. Biopiracy is the term used to refer the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the countries and people concerned without compensatory payment. Most of the industrialized nations are rich financially but poor in biodiversity and traditional knowledge. In contrast, the developing and underdeveloped world is rich in biodiversity and traditional knowledge relevant to the bioresource. Traditional knowledge related to the bioresource can be exploited to develop modern applications and can also be used to save time, efforts and expenditures during their commercialization. Therefore, there has been growing realization of injustice, inadequate compensation, and benefit sharing between the developed and the developing countries. Therefore, some nations are developing laws to prevent such unauthorized exploitations of their bioresources and traditional knowledge. The Indian Parliament has recently cleared the second amendment of Indian Patent Bill that takes such issues into consideration, including the patent terms, emergency provisions, and research and development initiatives. So that's it. Thank you.